Peace, my family, and raw back to all those coming out of their good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This is your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all that good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right. In that good nine mind. How y'all feeling? Hope you guys most definitely moving on up, that's right, in your higher nature family. And most definitely cleansing, because if you don't know, now you know. Yeah, we must cleanse the lower frequency energies, family. Alright, now, I came on here today to express. Welcome to the ones that's coming in on the channel now. The newcomers, right? Welcome. Hope you're ready, because family, this channel is all about truth and facts, the facts of life, right? So, in order to transform yourself and go through those metamorphosis stages in your path and your journey, going through that good journey within family, yeah, you must know the truth, because that truth is what's going to make you free. Oh man. And you're going to begin to fly real high once you begin to let go of the things that are really not you. Let go of the world. Let go of the things that is holding you back from being in your true nature, within your higher nature, and that potential of reaching your higher self. It's real, family, and you too can do this. But it's about really accepting the truth for what it is and seeing the facts for what they are and beginning to live your life based on the facts from the Most High. And it's a beautiful time to be in when you begin to get the facts, when you begin to get the evidence, when you begin to get the right knowledge. Alright now. So, I came here today to, again, express and share. This is speaking on, these are two important and unsettling hints to who had created humans and why. You see, it's very important that we begin to have an open mind, because again, the way the Most High has created us all, has set this up, it's a design in which we must learn to know, okay? And with that being said, it's a way how things went, and it's just down to getting to the facts of it all. And it's going to be extremely unsettling at first, right? Because it'll be something new, right? But in time, once you begin to really sit on that and really begin to really just there for the facts, what the Most High wanted you to know. Because again, my family, things have been burnt, things have been hidden for so long, and because of them not wanting you to know the truth of who you are and in yourselves, right? This is why it may become unsettling for some, because many people have been lied to about a lot of things. And that's why it's time for the truth to be known. So you too can make a choice for yourself to choose to live in truth or continue to live in the lies that they tell. Either way, you were told. Alright? Alright. So, this is your chance now, the opportunity to rise and know who you really are. This is the Holy Tablets, the great book of the living. This right here will certainly help you on this good journey. This is speaking on, again, these are the two important and unsettling hints who had created humans and why. Let's get down to it. I'm curious, aren't y'all? I write this already, but I like to, play sometimes, but this is really serious, right? At the same time. So I like to make light of things because, hey, did you create yourself? Just saying. Let's get to it. All right. This truth is that the back-breaking work in the gold mines have become unbearable. The story of the Anunnaki, the story of the Anunnaki, renewing your history is what you need to know the truth and to raise your consciousness levels up and know who you really are and where you come from, right? Very important. Let's get to it. And due to all other races coming from the original Nubian, new beings. So, it's all speaking of everyone, right? Because again, they all got mixed in to create other races. So, at the end of the day, we speaking on, all of us, right? So, let's get to it. This truth is that the back-breaking work in the gold mines had become unbearable. And though their commander-in-chief summoned the ruler of Nibiru, his father, Anu, the Heavenly One, the Most High, our Father, to a symbol of the great Anunnaki, and demanded harsh punishment of his rebellious crew. Okay? But Anu, who was more overstanding, right? What are we accusing them of? Question. He asked as he heard the complaints of the mutineers, right? Their work was heavy and their distress was much, right? So let's rewind back real quick, right? So Adam, the slave made to order, right? This is tablet 4 of the Holy Tablets, right? And let's get to it. So it says, "Lo, my child, you ask, why did we fashion you to be slaves?" Question. Why are you a slave made to order? Question. First, know that all of ye are Adamah of the ground. Know that we created you, the atom, a group, atom, for the purpose of helping your species. After the crash of the planet, your species were becoming extinct, right? So we had recanceled, and we said amongst ourselves, without the permission of Anu, the Most High, the Heavenly One, let us make Adamites in our very own image, being in our likeness in all ways, being able to reproduce on their own. However, all did not go well with this plan. The Anunnaki, the Elohim of the mines, were complaining that their jobs in the mines were too hard. So they decided amongst themselves, without the permission of Anu, the Most High, the Heavenly One, to create you from the purpose, or for that purpose, of doing their work. This was the Adamah project, right? There was no Adam to till the land. And it goes on to say, family, these are two most important unsettling hints who had created humans and why. You must know the truth, and the truth will make you free. This truth is that the backbreaking work in the gold mines had become unbearable. Enlil, their commander-in-chief, summoned the ruler of Nibiru, his father Anu, the Most High, the Heavenly One, to an assembly of the great Anunnaki, and demanded harsh punishment of his rebellious crew. Back to what I was saying, right? But Anu, who was more overstanding, what are we accusing them of? Question. He asked as he heard the complaints of the mutineers. Their work was heavy, right? And the distress was much. Was there no other way to obtain the gold he wondered out loud, question. Yes, said his other son, Enki. Enlil's half-brother and rival, the brilliant chief scientist of the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, saw that it was possible to relieve the Anunnaki of the unbearable toil by having someone else take over the difficult work. I resolved and let a primitive worker to be created. And the idea appealed to assemble the Anunnaki, right? The more they discussed it, the more clear their clamor grew for such a primitive worker. And Adam to take over the workload. But they wondered, how can we create a being intelligent enough to use tools and to follow orders? Question. How was the creation or bringing forth of the primitive worker to be achieved? Question. Was it indeed an undertaking? Question. Enki answered, saying, the creature whose name you utter, it exists. All you have to do, he added, is to bind upon it the image of the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki did not create humans for nothing. Or the Anunnaki did not create humans not for nothing, but from nothing. So let me repeat that one more time. The Anunnaki did not create humans from nothing, right? The being was already there on Gaia, Earth, Tiamat, right? The product of evolution, the Homo erectus. All that was needed to upgrade it to the required level of ability was intelligence, is divine life, right? To bind upon it the image of the Anunnaki, right? The image of the Elohim themselves. The process envisioned by Enki was to bind upon the existing nature, the image, and the inner and the genetic makeup of the Anunnaki. He wanted to take the Homo erectus monkey and breed it with the DNA of the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, the gods. This first endeavor was undertaken without the permission or approval of the Most High, Anu, because that would be interfering with the ecology of the planet Earth, the chain of life, the evolution, the mutation, keeping the environment balanced, right? Earth and its seas are one, depending on each other for existence. To pull out just one form of life and alter the system by upgrading or downgrading, right? We throw everything off. Stepping into a chain of events. Selecting one breed of creatures from the rest would disrupt the natural system of things. This Anu knew. Yet the symbol of all the Anunnaki resolved amongst themselves to proceed with the project. Enlil stated that these Lulus were to be created asexual or hermaphrodites. However, Enki disagreed. He felt that the Lulus should be given total control of their reproductive organs so that they can reproduce on their own. This is what Anu didn't approve of. Anu was against unruly activity, uncontrolled sex. Enki took his thoughts to the Anunnaki, Ninti, whereupon she also agreed to breed the Lulus with their own reproductive organs so that they wouldn't have to keep cloning and engineering. They proceeded on with their project without informing Anu. This they did without the permission of Anu. Enki assigned the task to Ninti and their chief medical, which is their chief medical officer, right? Who was under the impression that Anu had approved this project. They summoned and asked Ninti, the midwife of the Anunnaki, the wise birth giver, saying, to a creature give life and create workers. Create a primary worker that he may bear the yoke. This process took place in a laboratory, a sheminti, meaning the house where the wind of life is breathed in. After the purifying and extracting, the procedures were completed, and the Anunnaki Elohim who purified the Nashatun Enki spoke up, right? And seated before her, Ninti, he was probing her. And after she had recited her affirmation, she put her hand to the clay. Mixing the clay with all the compound contracts and essence was not yet the end of the procedure. The egg of the ape woman was fertilized, and the purifying baths with the sperm and the genes of the 7 young Elohim Anunnaki was then deposited in the mold, where the binding was to be completed. Enki announced to the gathered Anunnaki that his own spouse, Nanaki, Lady of the Earth, had volunteered for the task. Nanaki, my spouse, he announced, would be one for labor, and she was to be one to determine the fate of the new being. The newborn's fate you should pronounce, right? Nanaki would fix upon it the image of the Anunnaki, and what it would be is human. The female Anunnaki chose to serve as birth Anunnaki if the experiment succeeded. Enki said one should stay. One should stay and observe closely, for in the first 3 months the Nakashas are present, right? Or Nakashans are present. And in the second 3 months, the Harmonians are present. But in the last 3 months, the Elohim are present. So guard against thievery by the Luciferian and those disagreeable Yahwehans. Keep a watchful eye over what is happening. The birth Anunnaki were kept together, right? And Ninti sat counting the months. The fateful 10th month was approaching, and the 10th month arrived, and the period of opening of the womb had elapsed, and the human's creation, it appears, was compounded by a late birth. Medical intervention was called for. Realizing what had to be done, Ninti covered her head with an instrument that would make it possible through ray beams for her to see an opening. With this done, that which was in the womb came forth, and grabbing the newborn baby, she was overwhelmed with joy. Lifting it up for all to see, she shouted triumphantly, and I have created, is what she said. I have created. My hands have made it. The first atom was brought forth, and now enough mixed clay was prepared to start pregnancies in the 14 birth Anunnaki at the time. Ninti nipped off 14 pieces of clay. 7 she deposited on the right and 7 she deposited on the left. Between them she placed the mold. And now the procedures were genetically engineered to come up with 7 males and 7 females at a time. The wise and learned, or double 7, the birth Anunnaki had assembled. and 7 brought forth males and 7 brought forth females. The female Anunnaki brought forth the wind of the breath of life. The creation of the Lulu Amu, the primal worker, the Homo sapiens, came about through a feat of genetic engineering and the embryo implant techniques. This new being had 9 ether hair and was known as the benevolent ones, called the Dankalinu, and they possessed the hydrocephalic state, but were going through a long process of evolution, right? However, the Anunnaki jumped in and sped up the Adamites, evolutionary process, creating you sooner than you would have evolved on your own. In any case, just as the Anunnaki had done on Nibiru, both coming from the same seed of life. So this creation was done by genetic manipulation. It was not done in an instant, right? It took 600 years in the grafting and the making of this being. Male called human, female called human, and they went through a lot of trial and error to get the perfect being, which accounts for all your defects in this world today. It took them exactly 600 years. That is 400 years for the breeding of the 4 generations. As in all cloning and genetic slicing or grafting, that's 10 people per 100 years and comes out to be 40 people over a period of 400 years. 100 years was used for the preparation of this process, that is collecting the choice species for breeding, or what is now called abducting, and the building of the laboratories on the planet Mars, right? 400 was used for the actual breeding, with the last 100 years was the civilizing and educating, right? The transplantation of the Homo erectus was done on the planet Mars. The Anunnaki set up bases on Mars on the dark side of the moon 450,000 years ago, before the coming to the planet Earth. The Anunnaki assembled 30-mile-long crafts, right? The Anunnaki assembled 30-mile-long crafts to transport the minerals that they collected. The Homo erectus were being abducted from the planet Earth and then taken to a laboratory called Samus on the planet Mars, where they were being made into Homo sapiens. The laboratory Samus was originally named, or a laboratory Samus was originally located in Nibiru, right? The Anunnaki had been going to Mars long before your existence. Now, these bases on Mars had been rekindled by humans and extraterrestrials. For many years, scientists have been denying the fact that life is on Mars. Even after the evidence was proven, they were in opposition to the idea of a modern Martian civilization that was brought forth in 1877 AD. The face on Mars was an ancient marker for incoming extraterrestrials to know about the project of the Homo erectus. Mars was one of the bases used by the Anunnaki for the creation of the Homo sapien. Homo erectus were gathered from Earth and then abducted to Mars for breeding in a laboratory which is called Shamuti, and meaning the place where the wind of life is breath. This marker was to make other extraterrestrials aware of this experiment of changing Homo erectus into Homo sapien. The Anunnaki did this without the permission of Anu. They were not supposed to jump in and speed up your evolutionary process. This was the birth of your Zycar, right? The human, the hue, the creative force of will, the identity of reproduction, coiled atom of the red soil, the copper tone with the atomic number of 63,546, and its chemical symbol is Q, with its atomic number being 29. It's always in a perfect oxidon state, and with the electrons of the magnetic earth field in the higher form manifestation in the color green, right, by the absence of the atmosphere filled with oxygen and its atomic weight being 15.9994, right? And oxygen has an atomic number of 8, and its chemical symbol is 0. It just goes on to say, when the breath of life was breathed into the being in the form of Raku, or the Ruach, a great wind mixed with life of the Elohim and life of the planet Earth. It is the intake of oxygen. So the Earth life produces ions, which are molecules bearing electric charges, having within it a great number of negative electrons and unequal to the number of positive protons in a nuclei. The negative ions are very helpful and refreshing, and this is in abundance in the air after a storm or even near a waterfall. The process of breathing in oxygen transforms the color from being manifesting to positive charges through the melanin. And there is melanin in the neutral melanin, which is a form of melanin found in the nervous system, and it is the central melanin nervous system, or the central nervous system. The Luciferians, who are the Frugaloids, or the fathers of one of the albino races today, tries to reduce the importance of melanin, and they being of all the creatures of the planet with melanin, right? It goes on to say, the Luciferians, who are the Frugaloids of the fathers of one of the albino races, today tries to reduce the importance of melanin, and they being of all the creatures on the planet with melanin, the most melanin recessive, right? Yet controlling the propaganda and the media tries to hide the very word melanin. They try to reduce the importance of melanin by overlooking the significance difference between the brain melanin and the skin melanin properties. Neutral melanin does not run parallel with your skin melanin, whether white, red, yellow, black, brown, or albino. Neutral melanin plays an important role in the functioning of the brain and the nervous system. Alright now. So that is a good place to stop for now, because that is the end of that heading. Now, if this gets your wheels turning, make you want to know more and know the whole story as you go on, check out the Holy Tablets family. It's on the channel just for you to do your deep study and raise your consciousness levels up and know the truth for yourself. It is here just for you. Check it out. It's on the channel. Alright? Again, my family, I want y'all all to know that you are loved beyond this world and in it. Begin to spread that love, family, one to another. Be the peace that you seek. Release our master teacher, Dr. Malachi Sierra L. Peace, shalom, hashuk, divine love, family, and Batu. And it's all love.